We're back with lesson 4. Document, please. And in my document, I'll start us out.
Yes, sir.
And lesson 4 is entitled Nebuchadnezzar's Dream. Now we're getting ready to get on the outline of prophecy. This is the outline on which all other prophetic details or pieces to the puzzle fit. Every other aspect of prophecy that we'll be studying from this point on will be built upon this basic prophetic outline of Daniel chapter 2. Keep that in mind. Nebuchadnezzar's Dream. While the second chapter of Daniel is part of the historical section of the book, nevertheless it contains one of the most amazing prophecies. The prophecy found in this chapter is the foundation upon which all other prophecies in Daniel are built. Outline prophecy. In order to comprehend the prophecies of Daniel, the principle of repetition in outline prophecy must be understood, and this is the stepladder format. That's a little unique name I put on it of my own. An outline prophecy is one that covers the whole span of time, from the prophet's day until the second coming of Messiah. Daniel 2 begins with the Babylonian Empire and culminates in the return of Christ. All the prophecies in Daniel cover the same basic outline. However, each subsequent prophecy adds significant details that were not included in the initial one. Stepladder effect. In other words, the rest of the prophecies expand on what is initially covered in broad sweeps in Daniel 2. Thus, when we finish our study of the book of Daniel, we will have an accurate and somewhat detailed history of the world from Daniel's day to the coming of Messiah. Another factor we should keep in mind in trying to understand the prophecies of Daniel is that the only nations that are mentioned in Daniel's prophecies are those nations that affect the covenant people of God. Some wonder why China and other great nations of antiquity were never mentioned in the Bible. This reason is simple. The Bible is only concerned with those nations that directly impact the covenant people of God. And that would be the pagan nations that caused the ruin of Israel in 721 BC by Assyria, and the ruin of Judah in 606 BC at the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, which is where we're at now, in the stream of time and prophecy in this study. So those pagan nations of ancient federalism type governments that ruled the entire world affected the covenant people of God, persecuted the covenant people of God. That is what we'll be focusing on. Let's begin this fascinating study of Daniel 2 and discover how accurately God has foretold world history. What happened to Nebuchadnezzar one night?
Nebuchadnezzar had a dream.
He had a dream.
Daniel 2, verse 1.
Daniel 2:1. And he knew it was very important for some reason. He could not get it out of his, he could not remember it. God wiped the slate clean for one reason, well, possibly two. One reason, he intended on purpose of wiping the dream from his mind, so that number 2, he could set the stage for the showdown between Daniel and the wise men of Babylon. Question 2, what did Nebuchadnezzar ask his wise men the next morning?
To tell him what he had dreamed.
Daniel 2:2-4. Note these Babylonian wise men professed to be the interpreters of dreams. Thus the king was not making an unusual request. It was something that they were accustomed to doing. The science crew were called in, but no go. Question 3. What was different about the king's request to interpret the dream this time?
Tell me what my dream was and interpret it.
And then interpret it. Tell me what I dreamed and tell me what it means. Daniel 2:5. Note Nebuchadnezzar could not remember the dream, but he knew deep down inside that it was the most important thing he ever witnessed. Question 4. Were the Babylonian wise men able to interpret the dream?
No.
Oh, they weren't able to give it to him or interpret it. No brainer. Note, the wise men of Babylon were totally discredited. They were unable to reveal the king's dream. If the king could have recalled the dream, they could have devised some interpretation of some kind. They professed to have supernatural power, but when they could not reveal the dream to the king, they showed clearly that they had no supernatural power at all. Satan makes it look good. His deceit and his counterfeits to the truth They look good, but when it comes right down to it, they don't have no power. Question 5. In his wrath, what was Nebuchadnezzar's command concerning all the wise men of Babylon?
He ordered the death of all the wise men.
That's right. Now, this included Daniel and his 3 buddies there.
That comes from Daniel 2, 12, and 13.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep that in mind now. Daniel, he gets a stay of execution, and it don't just save those other lives that he's concerned for now. He's the type of man concerned for all beings, all humans, but it saves him and his buddies too from sure death. Note, in his rage, Nebuchadnezzar commanded all to be slain, even the wise men who were not present. Daniel, as a recently graduated wise man, evidently was not in the first audience before the king, but the death decree including him. All right, question 6. When Daniel learned about the death decree, what request did he make of the king?
Daniel went into the king and asked for time so that he might interpret the dream for him.
Give me some time. I ain't got a clue right now, king, but now I know somebody does. When Daniel learned about the death, that was Daniel 2, 14 through 16. Question 7. Having been granted his request, what did Daniel do?
He told the matter to his friends. He urged them to plead for mercy from the God of heaven concerning this secret. They all fell down on their knees, point blank. They all sought the face of the supreme deity of the universe. Okay, did you read the note? Okay, note, Daniel and his friends went to the same source, the one source they knew that had the answer to the king's dream. They went in prayer to the God of heaven. Question 8, when did God reveal the dream to Daniel? The mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision.
Aha, if you notice, it was at night. He was probably asleep. Most of Daniel's visions, if not all of them, occurred in night visions in sleep. Daniel 2:19. Question 9, is Daniel blessed and praised God for revealing the dream to him? He enumerated 7 things the dream tells about the God of heaven. List those 7 things.
A, he changes times and seasons. B, he sets up kings and dethrones them. C, he gives wisdom to the wise. D, and knowledge to the discerning. E, he reveals deep and secret things. F, he knoweth what lies in darkness. And G, a light dwells within.
Light dwells with him, you see. Note, he's the maker of both. Note, this is the essence of what the prophecy of Daniel 2 reveals. God is in control of the events of human history. The rise and fall of empires appear as if happening by the will of men, but Daniel 2 reveals to us very clearly that God is behind all human events. Nothing happens that God is not already aware of and has not allowed. How comforting it is to know that God's still in control of the events of the earth. Sometimes we may not understand what is happening in our world today, but Daniel tells us clearly that God is in control. Question 10. What request did Daniel make of Arok?
Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon.
Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Daniel 2, 24, 25.
Sorry.
We're about to knock the camera off on question 11. To whom does Daniel give the credit for being able to interpret the dream to Nebuchadnezzar?
There is a God in heaven who reveals all things. Daniel
said, now, King, the God in heaven that gave you the dream is about to show you, sir, what you have dreamed. And he'll give you the interpretation. Daniel 2, 26 through 30. Note, none of the other wise men could reveal the dream. Only Daniel could. Yet Daniel does not claim superior intellect of wisdom. He clearly gives the credit to the one who revealed the dream to him, the God of heaven. The dream and the interpretation. Here we go. Here's your outline for all prophecy, the foundational rock on which all prophecy stands. Question 12. What did Daniel say the king saw?
A large image.
Large image. Huge, terrible statue. Question 13. List the various elements that make up the statue.
The head of gold, the chest and armor of silver, the belly and thighs of bronze, the legs of iron, and the feet of